During this lesson we're going to sketch orthographic and isometric views of an L-shaped block. This is what the block looks like in 3D, and we're going to be drawing isometric views of it as well as orthographic views looking at the front, the top and both sides. Once you've completed the drawing, it'll look like this. Okay, to start the drawing I'm just going to ghost over the top of the page to make sure I get a nice parallel line for a baseline to start that front view of the L-shaped block on. Okay, let's just zoom in a little bit so we can get a better view of what we're doing. Now I'm just going to draw the perpendicular lines that will be going vertically above the baseline, and this shape, as we know, is drawn inside a crate, and so I'm drawing the square and then just drawing through the middle horizontal line that I ghosted from the top, and now I'll ghost from the edge just so that I know I get a perfectly parallel vertical line here you can see, and I'll outline or detail line in the L-shaped block like this. Next I'm going to draw lines going vertically up for the construction of the plan, so just turning the page so I can get really nice straight lines, and then even in the middle we'll see that edge in the plan. Next I'll decide on the distance between the elevation there and the plan, and then I'll just do the distance above that line that will show the overall size of the view. And we'll just finish off with the detail lines over the top of the construction lines to make the view really clear. Next I'm going to draw the end elevation looking from this direction. So I'm just going to ghost over the baseline so I get a nice parallel projection line coming off the top of the shape and off the detail here. Now what we're going to do to get the width of the shape is we're going to draw up at 45 degrees as we've done in the past, and we're going to use that 45-degree line to project onto from the plan. So horizontally across onto the 45-degree line, and then where it intersects, vertically down. So again, just a quick bit of ghosting to make sure those lines are nice and vertical. And now we've drawn the view in construction lines, we can just outline it with the stronger detail lines so we can see the view clearly. Okay, again the same routine on the other side. I'm putting in the height, projecting across the height line here as you can see, and again in exactly the same way I'm going to use that technique where I project a line up at 45 degrees, or as good an estimate as I can, and then from the plan I'll project horizontally across with a construction line until I intersect the 45-degree line, and then again just projecting down to form the outline of the left-hand end elevation view. And again just outlining that view to distinguish it from the construction lines. Okay, now we're ready to start the three-dimensional isometric views. So in the bottom left corner, start with a horizontal line as you can see, and then the vertical leading edge of the crate that the shape will sit inside. Again, going up to the right from the bottom of that intersection at 30 degrees and up to the left at 30 degrees as you can see here. Okay, so just marking on the distance along these lines that we're going to put the vertical lines, and ghosting over the leading edge so that those vertical lines are nice and parallel to the front leading edge. And in the same way, deciding on the height of the crate and ghosting over and making sure by doing that that we get nice parallel lines. Okay, we'll just form the top of the crate now. So again, just ghosting over that edge, taking it back, ghosting over the left-hand edge and taking that back till it intersects as you can see. And we're going to use exactly the same technique. So the L shape will sit on that surface. So just estimating where the middle is, ghosting over one edge and taking it onto that point, and again just estimating where the middle is, ghosting over an edge and drawing the construction line in. Once you've done that, you can add those detail lines to separate the actual shape from the construction as you can see here. Okay, now we can project those corners along. So just ghosting over the back edge, going to this corner and forming that edge there, and then the internal corner edge, and finally the external corner edge that you can see here. And once we've done that, we'll just go parallel to this line. Actually do that properly by turning the page so we get a better result. So parallel to there, down to the line that we constructed, and parallel to here across to complete the shape. And again, we'll complete the drawing by putting in the detail lines to separate what we want to be looking clearly at from the construction lines. Okay, we're going to repeat the same process, but we're going to orientate that L shape a different way. So, same way to start is have that horizontal line and then the leading edge of the crate vertically above there, as you can see. Again, all in construction lines. Establish your 30-degree lines for isometric in both directions, as you can see, and then we'll draw in the width of the crate, making sure that it's nice and parallel with that leading edge. Just establish the height and use the 30-degree lines to make sure we get a nice parallel line above, and again just going over the 30-degree line to make sure that all the lines are parallel in isometric. So in this shape, this is where the L shape will sit. So let's just get the center points and then ghost over on the 30-degree to get that line and the vertical to get this line, and then we can detail in the shape as you can see here. Now what we'll do is we'll draw the construction lines on the edges, as you can see here, this external edge, ghosting over to get that external edge there and that internal corner, as you can see. Once we've got to this point, we'll just use that front edge to draw in a parallel line at that back edge. Same here, just ghosting over and then moving back, and then we can just put in all the detail lines to finish off this shape. And so in exactly the same way, starting with that horizontal line, finding a point and projecting it perpendicular vertically up, and then at 30 degrees on both sides to start the crate. Once we've got all the vertical lines and decided on the height, again just using the 30 degrees to create the crate, as we can see here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to form the L shape so it's kind of tipped on its side. So in exactly the same way, just ghosting over and getting a line up at 30 degrees in this direction and a line up at 30 degrees over here. Once we've got that, we can just detail in the shape. And just draw these vertical lines in here so that we can get the edges of the external and internal corners of the L-shaped block. And again, just ghost over the lines that are going to be parallel. So this little line here is reflected at the bottom, and the top line just here, we're going to move down and draw that in. Now we've finished the shape and construction lines, we'll just put the detail lines in so it stands out. Right, the fourth and final orientation of this shape, in exactly the same way to draw the crate, starting with a horizontal line, the front leading edge of the crate, and then projecting back at 30 degrees to the right hand side and to the left, and just drawing in the rest of the crate, as you can see here. Now on the top, what we'll do is we'll have the shape like this, and so again just ghosting over that line, finding the middle, getting a parallel, ghosting over and again finding the middle, and we'll just detail in the shape as you can see here. Now we've finished the outline shapes, what we'll do is just add a flat render, a tone to each right hand facing surface. This will just bring these shapes together and add a little bit of impact to the drawing.